Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within.
Hey everybody, I'm Michael.
This is Cleve.
This is Stephanie.
And welcome back to another exciting episode of Friendship.
So, God bless you.
That sounded like a Pokemon just now. We're the podcast that dares ask, do you know who the first comic book writer to ever be on Forbes 30 for 30 is? Or 30 under 30. That's ESPN is 30 for 30.
30 under 30, yes. I don't. Who is it?
It's Tony Weaver Jr. Who's that, Cleve?
That's crazy. So, okay. So, let me explain to you.
That doesn't sound fake at all.
Let me explain to you how this episode developed for me. So, I have a TikTok. Michael's got a TikTok. We post TikToks. And I kept seeing this guy named Tony Weaver Jr. And he had this backwards baseball cap with horns, like purple horns sticking out. And he loved anime and comic books. And it was just super nerdy and super like pure to me.
He's an odd cat.
He is, but in the best kind of way.
Pure joy. Like pure nerd. Yeah.
And so one of the TikToks, he has a comic called The Uncommons. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to look on Webtoons because that's where it is. I can read it for free. And I'm going to check it out. Maybe we'll do an episode about it because this whole month has been Black History Month. And we've been covering different topics in Black culture. And what a great one. This guy just decided one day, I'm going to make this comic book. Then I find out that this man is on the Forbes 30 under 30, and CNN has done an article about him, and he has a very popular TED Talk on YouTube, and he is a owner of a company called Weird Enough Productions. And so it went from me just trying to talk about this small guy on TikTok to
covering not so bad small guy on TikTok.
You didn't even know.
Someone who overshadows me completely.
Isn't that great? You're like, you see this guy on TikTok, you're like, oh, this is a guy. And then it's like, oh, he's done so much more than I have done. And I don't like this.
And he's so much younger.
Good for you. Like, that's amazing. It just, I wish I did things.
Right. Hey, we're doing something right now, baby.
Yeah.
So he started and created so I have a little paragraph words about The Uncommons is a tale of 5 unlikely outsiders that need to save each other to save the world. It centers around Iris, who is a West African teen gifted with second sight, a mystic ability that lets her see energies, details, and outcomes. She thought she'd seen everything until one day her eyes showed her a vision of a calamity that threatens the entire world. Determined to fight fate, she travels to the futuristic tech hub of Delta City to stop the threat before it begins. While Iris and her new allies prove uncommon enough to change the fate of everything.
Delta City very much feels like a Pokemon city, by the way.
I can see that.
It very much feels like it's just like a weird, like Saffron, not Saffron. What's the one with all the shops? Celadon?
Sure. I know Pallet Town, dog. Pallet Town and the Cinnabar Islands. That's it.
Viridian is the dead one, isn't it? Well, all the cemeteries.
Anyway, it might be. It also might just be the next town after Pallet Town.
Oh, it could be.
Vermilion.
I
don't know.
We're Pokemon fans. You wouldn't
I don't know
that.
any of this.
Yeah.
Anyways, she is tied with probably my number one favorite female character ever in comics, by the way. I fucking adored Iris. I think she was fantastic.
Yeah, she's a great character.
She's amazing.
She's very I don't know. Like she's just very positive, but also like
About seeing the world in. Yeah.
So I sent Cleve a couple of actually it's in the group message, but some of like the traits and stuff and the way when he was drawing them, like what he wanted to keep in mind while drawing them. And would you not believe that Iris's are her traits are bubbly, can get into her own head, she's curious, concerned about people, always true to herself, and she has a healthy lifestyle.
Well, that's good. It's always good to have a healthy lifestyle. I wish I could just write that about myself and it'd be true. What's your lifestyle? Pretty healthy.
It's good. It's good. I'm doing right. Great. She only is rivaled by Doreen Green or Squirrel Girl because they have the same personality, basically.
They do.
They're both super chipper. And
I'm sure that wasn't on purpose, but they absolutely do.
Yeah.
I would love to see them together.
Yeah. Marvel, make that shit happen. Get this guy out
Pick
there.
it up. Pick it up.
Get this guy in there right now and do a collab. No, she was super. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Like, overly optimistic when you have no reason to be optimistic. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
wish
then-
that we. I'm sorry.
Fine, you're not going to help me. I'm going to go do it myself anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I needed someone with super strength or some kind of power, and you're not going to help. Fine, I'll figure it out.
Positivity through diversity.
I wish that we knew more about where she came from because they don't ever like super get into it.
I can see that, but I also kind of like
the
leaving
mystery.
some things. Like, remember, Wolverine was really good when like you didn't know all the baggage before
Yeah, that's true.
the memory wipe.
Well,
Once
because
you got all that, you're like, this is murky.
so throughout, and I don't know exactly where you guys end up stopping or where you guys are up to on it, but like at some point they talk about, did she get her special goggles yet?
Yeah.
I've seen the monitor, yeah.
Okay. Well, like, because there's a difference between when she sees stuff and there's just things over her eyes to show
Yes.
the reader that she sees stuff, and then when she actually wears like these glasses that she found at a shop.
Mhm.
And when she's wearing those, the voices that talk to her, because there's constantly voices like talking to her to kind of bring her down.
Mhm.
At one point, one of them says, "You're not worthy to wear this armor," and the armor comes from her putting the glasses on. And she always she not constantly, but she mentioned several times that she's a warrior. And so I was curious, like, kind of, she had mentioned how those goggles were only from her land where she's from and all this stuff. So like, I kind of wanted to know more about like that. Is it like a secret society, much like Wakanda, where like there's warriors and they're all strong women, because the only people you see in her flashbacks are women as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious, like, kind of like, do all the people have that kind of sight? Is she just specifically a seer? And then she hadn't ever seen into the future until this one vision.
But the beauty
Do the
is,
rest of them, can they see into the future? That's
Right.
why she's not.
Like, because she's perceptive and she sees things that others don't, and she can calculate and stuff like that. But like randomly, one vision she was able to see in the future, and now she can kind of see in the future. So
Mhm. I would be curious if it's like that's the village. You get this vision, and now this is your path and your mission now.
Mm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
that you're
this is
calling.
why you're here. Yes, and then you leave where you're from in West Africa, and you
Well, and it almost
Go
sounded
handle
like
that shit.
it almost sounded like one of her flashbacks, like she was banished in a way. Like she
Okay.
was kind of pushed out and told not to come back because her visions were too wild. Like she
Like the
was
end of the
too
world?
hung up on her vision.
well, in my vision, the world ends. I feel like we
Right.
should talk about that one
I'm
a bit
gonna hang a
longer.
lot on that shit.
We should talk about that one longer than yours, where it's like ice cream runs out on Tuesday.
3 people died of listeria from Bluebell. Yeah, congratulations, you saw that coming. No, Iris was a really good character. I really like the way she was written. I like Influencer. Kind of not sure. The only thing I didn't understand about Influencer was for a long time they tiptoed about whether his powers were real. Because they would show random like scenes of him
Clips.
and his friend in like
Yeah.
a green screen.
Mm-hmm. And then the was it like Echo or something?
Echo was
The guy that can hear
Mhm.
things.
Yep.
I think he even at one point talks about, or is it him or is it someone else? I can't remember exactly who anymore.
It was him. It was like,
He
I'm
talks
not
about whether he wasn't sure if his powers were real.
Yeah.
right. I kind of would like that more. Like, he's just this guy who's spreading this positivity and doesn't actually have powers. It just, he puts these clips together, make it looks like he has powers, and so people kind of have something to believe in.
I
But also,
thought
also gives me kind of a false god complex.
yeah. Well, I thought so, and they didn't really touch up on any of their powers, like as far as an explanation as to why they got those powers.
Mhm.
But I think like the way it almost seemed like it worked was he almost like a Santa Claus situation. Like you needed, like from the Santa Claus movie or Buddy the Elf, like you needed them to believe, and if they believed, then your powers got stronger.
Yes.
Because like that kid showed up. This might be past what you guys have seen. There at one point in time, there's rocks like falling on top of him,
Mhm.
and he's trying to hold them up above a kid, and he's trying to talk to the kid, but he's deaf. And so like he shows him the sign that says like my name's Alex, whatever. I call this number, and like you can see that he's starting to slowly like slip and let go of the rock,
Mhm.
and the kid does this little pose from one of the influencers like cards, like trading cards, and he's like, where do you see that? And he shows him the trading card, and like when he does that and he does this little symbol again, or like the stance he did, suddenly the influencer is able to like kind of push it off.
Yeah.
And so like it's almost like this, if I can be positive and spread positivity and people believe in me, then suddenly I get those powers.
I wonder
Which I
if
think
it's
is
more
amazing.
about him believing in himself though, because he doesn't seem to have like, even though he has all like spreads all this positivity and influence and
But-
whatever, he doesn't seem to have a lot of his self-confidence.
Yes.
He
A lot
doesn't
of
really
self-doubt.
believe the things that he's saying to other people are
Yeah.
true about himself. Like he believes other people are good and they're saving themselves, but he has like imposter syndrome, like kind of.
Yeah,
And so I wonder if
because
like
he said something to Chikara about that.
Yeah.
So I
About
wonder if
how-
he sees that kid and he's just like, oh, I am
Yeah.
doing
No,
good.
I think that's either way, if that's how that like goes for the explanation of power, like either you need you to believe in yourself or you need people to believe in you. Like
Yeah.
I think that's a unique ability or a way to gain
Right.
your ability. It's
Right.
something that I don't know that I've seen before in any comics.
How did we feel about the artwork?
I liked it. It was very, very much web comic art. Like it wasn't like next level. It wasn't like as detailed as like Julian does,
Mhm.
because Julian, I think, like focuses on one page a lot of the time, so like he's able to put a lot more detail into it. It's more very
Right.
much like I want to produce these as quick as possible. Like let's get these out, but they're good.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, I was going to say. I think that even though they push them out as fast as they do because they have to, I think they hold up pretty well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I just think like I know, like I don't know. You look at different comic book styles, and you see like Scotty Young in comparison to God, what is the guy that does the one that remember when we were covering Alex Ross, I think is his name. When we were
yes.
covering Stargirl and they complained about him, he would complain about them taking his style.
Right.
Like the difference in like you could see a Scotty Young comic, have appreciation for it, but then also see Alex Ross's comic and go, holy shit, like these are hugely different styles, both taking a lot of skill, but it just
I think really where they excel, if the artwork's not as detailed, is the coloring of everything.
it was
I
really
think-
pretty.
Yeah, their coloring really pops, and they have a lot of contrast to what they're doing. If there's a lot of black, it's usually like bright red that's showing up, and
The coloring remind me a lot of Steven Universe. Like
yeah,
that type of animation or like coloring.
Although I didn't know that web comics were released one page at a time, so it makes sense why some of them the artwork seems different from like page to page
Yeah.
sometimes.
so
That was your chance to plug in Julian's Instagram.
Rock the Arts at Instagram and
He does
Twitter.
our logo.
Walk the Arts 1 on Twitter. I think somebody has the other one. Anyway,
He did that
So
logo on the back behind me and on Stephanie's.
you probably just point to Stephanie's. It's
Stephanie.
like
There
a
you go.
lot more prominent.
Look at that handsome man behind me, though. I can't do it. It's me,
You're hurting
guys.
yourself.
I'm sorry. I'm hurting.
You're hurting yourself.
Everything hurts.
So this company, the Weird Enough Productions, they have employees in New York, Texas, Portland, and also artists in Ghana, Nigeria, and the Philippines.
Wow.
So
Worldwide.
definitely the whole point of the comic was diversity. I don't know if you guys got to get to his TED Talk. But for the listeners, I was gonna let y'all go by without admitting you didn't do it. So he was a kid that loved it all. Loved Batman, loved mangas, loved cartoons, dress up in a cape when he would go to the store with his dad. And as he got older, he got bullied because kids are asses.
Right.
So he tried to take his own life at 14, 16. I can't remember the age. I'm sorry. Got better. Spoiler alert. And started mentoring like a little kid while he was in college. And the little kid was 5 or 6, I think. Super into cartoons too, super into comics too. Just wanted someone to talk to about it all, right? He said that Halloween was coming up and he was like, "Are you going to dress up like the superheroes that we've been talking about?" And the little black kid goes, "There's no characters that look like me." And he tells the story several times. He goes, "I'm just going to be CJ from Grand Theft Auto." And he was like, "Here's this kid who loves to be a hero, but doesn't see himself in anyone and can only go to this violent character that we have any kind of representation for." And he was like, "That should change." And that's where he came out with all this. They also use programs in curriculum so they can use the comic in school and libraries and after school programs to help with like literacy and social emotional learning and digital citizenship and things like that. So not only is it the story comic that he's creating, but he's finding a way to work it in schools to help kids learn also.
That's amazing.
That's really cool.
Right.
And he's not even 30 yet.
Nope.
I mean, yeah, no, and I think we've talked many times about representation in any medium, and if you don't see it, that it's hard to really fully relate to that medium. Like, I don't know. We've talked about it with Miles Morales and you. We've mentioned it many times that like that is the first time you felt represented in that aspect. So no, it's huge.
I just like when Black Panther came out, I still love that the people are like, it wasn't that great. The CGI looked bad. I'm like, but you're looking past what it did.
At the like Wonder Woman 84.
Right.
That CGI was great, man.
Well, right. Like you're looking past what it did. It gave little kids someone to aspire to be. Or Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie asked to be Falcon in the MCU, so because he wanted his son to see someone that looked like him on the screen. Like that's all it comes down to is representation in a positive light.
Yeah.
But don't forget that Miles Morales is a Hispanic.
God, that fucking guy. Yeah, there's this guy who was like, "I'm sorry, Miles Morales is black, but he's not Latino. He doesn't speak Spanish, and he calls himself black." And I'm like,
"There's some white dude, by the way."
I think he was Mexican.
Oh, was he? Huh. He looks super white.
But I'm like, I'm so aggravated by it because I'm like, as someone who is half Mexican, half black, I didn't realize that what qualified you was just to not have a Hispanic parent and a black parent. I didn't realize that you had to check off.
You have to check
certain
some
different-
boxes.
Yeah,
You're not, so you're not Hispanic because you're not Hispanic enough.
so many people have duetted that video or stitched that video and just been like, "You're so off base with what you're saying right now." Anyway, so yeah, Forbes 30 for 30. He got an $80,000 grant that he secured while he was still in college to help run the production
Weird
studio.
enough.
Yeah,
What am I doing with my life?
Right? All the time I feel like that.
he got grants further on from other big companies that helped him pay for his artists and anything that they're needing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he basically he calls himself weirdo in chief instead of commander in chief, and his job is just to make sure all the pieces are moving like they should be.
Yeah, I've seen his TikToks. I did not see his TED Talk. But yeah, he is an odd, but like you said, I mean, of the most genuine variety.
Right. Yeah. It's and I love all of them. It's so
Yeah.
great. He's such a funny, positive person.
To the
So
point that you didn't know how big he was.
Yeah.
right, because he's just a guy
Yeah.
talking to his phone. His websites have little quotes. One of them says, "It's a comic organization using diverse representation to make heroes both on and off the pages." And then the other one says, "We're a global collective of creators using media and education to empower young people with a simple idea. As long as you embrace who you are, you're never too weird. You're just weird enough." And that's where the name comes from. And I'm like, this fucking kid. Like, I'm over here like, oh, it'd be cool to pick a guy from TikTok, make a video about. And then he fucking flexed on me without even knowing.
Just a mega flex.
I like trying to offer a homeless man a cheeseburger and fucking smacking it out of my hand. Like, but yeah, man, the deeper I got into this, I'm like, this is super fucking impressive. All of
Yeah.
it.
Stephanie, go make a comic book.
Alright.
You're the only
Yeah,
artistic
okay.
one out of all of us.
I was gonna say while we're on verge of our podcast making $15 a week or a month.
Don't you worry about it.
But you know what? I enjoy it, and that's what. So this is the last episode for the Black History Month, and this is what I wanted, is because when you want to speak about certain things, all you can do is express it in whatever platform you have. And this is what we have. So I thought, we should definitely take the opportunity to point out 4 different things going on in the world, current, because I tried super hard not to like Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Martin Luther
Right.
King, because these people, and these people are no longer with us. It's interesting to me to keep seeing these people who are still very much alive and with us.
Mhm. And
Eddie
what they're
Murphy, Phil
doing.
Lamar, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, especially people like Tony, that's the future.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah,
Phil
no
Lamar and Regina King are like
my time has come and
they're
gone.
older, so like they're kind of I don't
Right.
know.
They're not
They're on
gone.
the other
They're
end
not.
of it.
And they're there.
They're there, right? But yeah, I mean, like people like him that's the future. Like that's and look at the good that they're doing. And I think that's something to be said about some of our generation and younger. I mean, every generation has them, but like I feel like the younger generation has had a lot of like, how can we improve everything?
Right.
And like you see that and stuff like that, where he's employing people from all over and getting grants and paying all these people good money, I'd assume.
Yeah.
Probably better than Marvel's paying them.
Oh, so also I heard this story. Just a little add-on for you guys. Like the Child of the Year award thing. There was this 9-year-old girl, and she was in school, and she's a little black girl, and her teacher told her to get the flesh-colored crayon. And the little girl was like, I don't know which crayon you're talking about. I don't know. And she's like, the flesh color. And of course, it's the one that makes you look white.
Right.
A-
The neutral color.
Right. And this little girl decided that she didn't like that. It wasn't right. And so she worked on creating a crayon set that is all different skin tones of people. Right. Fucking 9. What's funny is at 9, I always knew when they said the flesh tone ones, that's what they meant. Like, it never questioned it in my mind. And this girl was 9 and was like, this isn't right.
That
I'm gonna
doesn't
fix
seem
this.
right.
Because it's not. You know?
Makeup is the same way. It's like neutral or flesh toned or whatever. And it's just
Right.
like,
Do you remember the girl? I think she was like 9 or 10 that called Steph Curry out about how they didn't have girl-sized basketball shoes for her. Like Steph Curry had just come out with a new set of shoes and was
No.
like, yeah. So he had these new shoes, and she wrote to him and was like, hey, she's like, I'm a huge Golden State Warriors fan. I'm a huge Steph Curry fan. Like, I want to wear your shoes. You don't sell them in girl size because they're not for little girls. And that's the message I'm getting. This is a little girl writing this, grown ass man who's making millions and millions of dollars and writes to him. And he said, he was like, you're right. I think it's Nike got together with him and was like, this is what we're doing now.
How is it not Nike?
It could have been
Steph
Reebok,
Curry.
but I think it's Nike. And was like, this is what we're doing, and then gave her a free pair of shoes, and then like had her come and like hang out with him and all this other stuff. But anyway, on National Women's Day, which is my anniversary, not Stephanie's birthday.
it's my birthday. It was my birthday before it was your anniversary, which is National Women's Day.
No, Stephanie, can't I have a day?
It's always got to be about you.
You picked the wrong one. I celebrated my birthday at your wedding.
I know. You're a trooper, and I appreciate it.
Nobody even knew it was my birthday. I didn't even
I
say
officiated your
anything.
wedding in the middle of the rain.
That feels like conspiracies.
I mean, you were undercover.
For the most part, until I had to move out of the way for your kiss, which I knew to do
Thank you. I
because,
appreciate it.
You
people
should've
don't.
You should have just been in there, man.
Just get all up in it. But no, if you guys have not checked out this comic book by Tony Weaver, it is called The Uncommons. It's on Tony Weaver Jr. It's on Webtoon for free if you download the app. Or you can go to a store, which is weirdenough.com. Weirdenough.com. You can go to a store and you can buy it there. You can buy that cool ass shirt that Cleve's got. I'm gonna go buy it in a second. I just love Iris so much.
It's Under Armour was the shoe brand.
Under Armour, thank you.
So
Surprising.
But yeah, let us know if you haven't read it. Go read it. I think it's a good read. It's quick. It's 16 issues, or 15 issues, but I would tell you it's a real quick read. I did it in like maybe an hour. Really good art, really well done. Diversity, it's good. Well written.
Diversity is good.
No, I meant like it has diversity. It's well written. There's a lot of representation within it.
There's at one point where they say, diversity feels forced, and like a crowd or whatever, and they all look at him. I enjoyed that moment of that comic.
If you guys do end up reading it, let us know what you guys thought about it. You guys can always let us know in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. We come out with episodes every week on Wednesdays. At some point in time on Wednesdays, we talk about great things. This is our last episode about for Black History Month. Next month we'll have other crazy stuff. I don't know. Maybe Cleve will eat an octopus on screen. Anyway,
Live.
You never know. You never know what'll happen.
Live, and then the octopus is alive.
But you guys can reach out to us at all of our social medias if you guys have any suggestions or just comments you want to make. We're always up for improvement. So if there's something we can do that'll make you happier, let us know. How can they reach us, Cleve? What are our social medias?
They are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which are all Friendship Supreme, except Twitter has no I's in the word friendship. All I's typically make it to the YouTube channel. You just go to YouTube and search Friendship Supreme and you'll see us. We also have a email, which is friendship.supreme@gmail.com, where you can write
Please
to us,
write to me.
ask us
I'm
any
lonely.
questions. Ask us any questions, suggest some episodes, suggest some movies you want to watch. Really, we'll do an episode just about anything almost. If you want us to watch an Adam Sandler movie, please contact
Yes.
friendship.com.
Someone suggested.
No.
I'm saving it for the one. I hope that I know your family listens. I hope that they are the ones that are like, we need more Sandler.
More Sandler.
No.
Well, I thought this was an Adam Sandler podcast.
Yo, if your brother or your mom suggests more Sandler, we have to do it.
No, we don't.
The
You can do
fans
it.
of-
Well, you can do it while I'm on maternity leave and just,
Nah,
I'm
What?
out.
we'll rope you in. Don't worry.
maternity leave.
We'll set it up. You're good. The baby can be part of it.
He got a daddy.
Anyways, guys, I've been Michael.
This is Cleve.
This is Stephanie.
And even if it feels like the world is ending, we can influence it for the better.